You know, the first time I saw this episode of the Twilight Zone where all the characters were speaking in French or Quebecois French, the killer slot machine was calling the name of Everett Sloan's character, Franklin, in English. Like with no, it wasn't like a French Franklin. And I found it kind of funny because the slot machine's voice was so well done. I guess there was some kind of audio special effects they had done where they took a person's voice and turned into kind of if a slot machine would talk, kind of hearing the quarters or the dollars. This is a freaky episode. If you're a addictive gambler, you probably had nightmares about this episode for years. So today we're going to talk about the double-edged sword of the fever. Now, the fever refers to the fever of gambling, but also to the fever that I think the slot machine had about trying to get back at one of its customers. Now, this is the 17th episode of Twilight Zone, aired on January 29th, 1960. The complete original text for the story was run in the debut issue of Harvey Kurtzman's Help, cover dated August 1960. Of course, that's part of the Mad Magazine universe. Now, Everett Sloan, who appeared in Patterns and is a very well-known actor at the time, plays the Downey's Luck Franklin Gibbs with the very good Viva Janice as Flora Gibbs, Franklin's wife. Now, Serling's opening narration goes to this. It goes like this. Mr. and Mrs. Franklin Gibbs, 3 days and 2 nights, all expenses paid at Las Vegas Hotel. They won a contest. One of a virtue of Mrs. Gibbs' knack with a phrase. That was the thing. If you come up with a jingle, you would get a free trip back in the 60s. Unbeknownst to either Mr. or Mrs. Gibbs is the fact that there's a prize in their package, neither expected nor bargained for. In just a moment, one of them will succumb to an illness worse than any virus can produce, a most inoperative, deadly, life-shattering affliction known as the fever. Now, this came after The Hitchhiker and before The Last Flight, so it was kind of a dark comedy sandwiched between two very serious episodes. Now, Gibbs and his wife Flora go to Las Vegas because she won a slogan contest. He detests gambling, but his wife is excited about their vacation. Now, in a casino, she puts a nickel in the slot machine, and Franklin admonishes her for wasting money. She convinces him to let her pull the arm since she already put the money in, but wins nothing on the spin. Happy that his point was made, he implores her to go back to her room so she can get ready for dinner. As they walk, Franklin is given a silver dollar by a drunk man, very effective scene by the way, who makes him use it in a different machine that advertises a $10,000 jackpot. He wins and tells Flora that she should keep the winnings and not lose it back like other people. As they depart, Franklin believes he hears the slot machine calling his name in a monstrous sounding voice. Franklin, like that. Now Franklin continues to hear the voice as he tries to sleep. He gets out of bed, telling his wife he cannot keep tainted money, that he's going to get rid of it by putting it back in the machine. He couldn't tip the bellhop, he had to go back to the machine. So you can pretty well is obvious what's going to happen. Later, Flora goes to the casino and finds Franklin playing the machine obsessively. When Flora tries to coax him to stop, he declares that he's lost so much that he has to try to win some of it back. He becomes enraged when she presses him to leave. He declares that the machine is inhuman, that it teases you, sucks you in. Sort of like the New Brunswick Liquor Commission and poker machines of the 80s and 90s. Broke a lot of hearts, those machines. Now, the casino workers watch and talk about him as he constantly plays. He ignores his wife pleas to go to bed. When Franklin puts his last dollar in the machine, it suddenly malfunctions and the reels will not spin. He loses his temper, knocks the machine over, and is taken screaming out of the casino. Pretty freaky. Later in bed, Franklin tells Flora that it was about to pay off, but deliberately broke down so they could not have to give him his money. He again hears the machine calling his name, then sees it coming down the hallway towards the couple's room and pursuing him. But the Franklin thing is faster and faster and faster. We don't know if it's in his mind or he's having a nervous breakdown. To his horror, its coin hopper is now covered by a hood etched with a large smile. Flora can neither see nor hear the machine as it backs Franklin up towards the window until he crashes backwards through it and falls to his death. The police stand over the body, knowing that his wife had stated that he had not slept in 24 hours, and the casino manager comments he has never seen anyone develop a gambling addiction so quickly and severely. Franklin's last dollar eventually rolls across the pavement to stop by his outstretched hand, and the camera pans in the direction for which it came from and stops on the smiling machine. Oh, a very, very comic book episode of TZ, but very effective because the acting and writing is tight. What Rod did, he was benefited quite a bit by the very underrated director Robert Florey to make it more effective. Now, according to closing narration, Franklin Gibbs visited L.A., who lost his money, his reason, and found his life to an inanimate metal machine, variously described as a one-armed bandit, a slot machine, or in Mr. Franklin Gibbs' words, a monster with a will of its own. For our purposes, we'll stick with the latter definition because we're in the Twilight Zone. And the Twilight Zone pinball machine gave a great reference to that slot machine. It was part of a kind of a sequence effect on the machine. That's considered one of the key machines of the Twilight Zone. We've had a lot of machines featured, but it's considered at least top 5 of the dangerous machines of the Twilight Zone. Now, in the book Serling, The Rise and Twilight of Television's Last Angry Man, Gordon F. Sander wrote, Serling celebrated the signing of his new show, The Twilight Zone, by spending a weekend in Las Vegas, While Carol Serling was having good luck nearby, he became enslaved by a merciless one-armed bandit and instantly returned to one of his first Twilight Zone episodes. Now, the slot machine, this wasn't his first appearance, only appearance in TZ. It would be reused in later episodes, a nice place to visit, and of course, the Buddy Epson-led The Prime Mover. Now, this is one of several episodes from Season 1 with his opening title sequence plastered over with opening for Season 2. This was done during the summer of '61 to help the Season 1 shows fit with the new look the show had taken during the following season. This is also one of Tree's Season 1 episodes with Marius Constant's theme instead of Bernard Herrmann's heard over the closing credits. Now, quite a few readings about this. Mark Scott Ziccare's book talks about the episode. Bill DeVoe talked about trivia for the Twilight Zone. And a very underrated book, if you can find it, it was called The Twilight Zone, Unlocking the Door to Television Classic by Martin Grams. Now, The Fever is part of that great Season 1. I don't think there's even a bad episode in Season 1, even though obviously the Muddy Casey had to been reshot because the lead actor literally died the day after he did the episode. He was, I guess it was, what do you call, not his time to be part of TZ. Now, according to IMDb, even though the episode does take place in LA, it was filmed in California, where slots were illegal at the time. The producers had a brokered arrangement with the LAPD to borrow real slot machines that had been confiscated from the mafia by the police for use in the episode. Said producer Buck Houghton, there was a policeman on the set of all times to make damn sure that somebody didn't take one off and set it up in his uncle's barbershop. Now, the name of the hotel that Franklin Flores is staying at is never given, but the casino is called Oasis, putting them at the Dunes, which operated from '55 until '93. Now, again, it's being used in the Prime Mover. Now, the slot machine was modified, actually. I don't know if that was legal or not. We're showing chasing Franklin at the end of the episode, and it's modified again with a flashing lower light where the coin slot used to be to make it all together. Now, this is this is 3.5 stars out of 4 episode. Now, the edited version of this is terrible. Avoid the edited version. Only see the syndicated version or on the DVD where it's about 23 or 24 minutes. You lose all aspect of Everett Sloan's great performance, and he should have been nominated for an Emmy for this. It's a tremendous performance because he goes from egotist to pushy husband to obsessive compulsive fatalistic guy within 5 scenes. It's amazing. And Everett Sloan, I always thought he was an evil character. I mean, all the stuff I've seen him in with Rod Serling, he was a kind of an heroic character or a character that was strong. But this one, my God, ladies and gentlemen, that trope of the wife knowing better. And if you ever didn't listen to your wife, you put The Fever on and saying, let's say your wife's in in Casino Mountain or Foxwoods or whatever, she comes up and said, "Don't be like the fever. Listen to your wife." Anyway, you know what they really should show this episode? At gambling anonymous gatherings, just as a prep. Do the essay, why you don't want to be like Franklin. So ladies and gentlemen, we're really having nice success with our Twilight Zone podcast. We've reviewed most of Night Gallery. This is going to be part of our Twilight Zone Thursday on the channel, either before Thursday or on Thursday. Let us know what you think. Give us your favorite Twilight Zone episode. We'll talk about it. See, the final season of TZ is terrible, but Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge might be the next one we're going to do. I haven't decided because I want to. I hate to do these reviews because you have to give away the episode. I want you to watch it because, Twilight Zone first season is the best I think Serling's ever did, in my personal opinion, because he kind of plagiarized himself in the later episodes, and the hour-long episodes were just hit and miss, either too long or not long enough. Thanks for listening, and give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.